All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight for Haley Adams live in the Castro with special guest Who, and we are live from the Reinventing the Tattoo community. You can join Haley once a month to talk with artists about art, collecting, clients, tech, and more. So we are beaming out to several different places. So if you're watching, just let us know that these streams are working by either tagging a friend who loves tattoos or commenting where you are beaming in from. Of course, positive reviews are welcome. All of these Reinventing Network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, and webinars can be watched all the time at reinventing247.com. While you're there, you can hook yourself up with a sample bundle from top tier brands known for making quality products: Shine Cartridges, Raw Pigments, and D-Lies Pro. We've got several weekly shows and drawing groups that you guys are welcome to tune into or even hop on the call with us. It's really easy, pretty fun too. You can set reminders for our upcoming events on our YouTube channel or catch us live. Every Sunday at 1 p.m., we have the Reinventing Drawing Group with Jason Leeser. This is a great show to bring in something you're working on or have questions about, and you can get a straightforward, honest feedback in a judgment-free atmosphere. Monday evenings at 9, we have our evening canon class with subscribers led by the legendary Guy Aitchison. The Reinventing trimester just started last week with orientation and all that good stuff. Classes resume tomorrow. You can head over to classrooms.reinventingthetattoo.com to find out more, to check out the upcoming trimester for next time. Tuesday mornings, we have our Tuesday Feels with Ricardo Sturdivant at 10 a.m. And Wednesdays at noon is a Tattoo Now show, followed by Thursdays at noon, the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Aside from these digital events, we still have several upcoming real-world events that we're gearing up for. Next weekend, we'll be beaming out for a World Tattoo Event segment at the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention. You guys can catch us in Health City in Columbus, Ohio on May 20th to 22nd, and in Phoenix on August 26th to 27th, as well as the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational this summer in July 29th to 31st. But before we kick it off with Haley, let's check out our sponsors and say hey, thanks to them for providing this content to you guys for free. Like I said, we have Alex at worldtattooevents.com. They've got a really nice, extensive resource for tattoo events. Rawpigments.co, an ink company that is tapping into the source with acrylic-free pigments that have been impressing artists across the globe. Thank you to Gabe at Tattoo Now for providing technology for tattooers. And of course, the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison. You can find his Biomech Encyclopedia, DVDs, machines, paintings, and more at guyaitchison.com. Also, thanks to some of our affiliates, Fireside Tattoo Network, The Apprenticeship Diaries, and EcoFriendlyTattooSupplies.com. So throughout this show, you guys, we welcome the positive comments and reviews. Any questions we can probably answer towards the end. Haley will let you know. If you guys have any other comments, just let us know or send us an email at management@reinventingthetattoo.com. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'm going to bring on our beautiful host and guest. Here we go. Hey, Haley, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? Thank you very much.
Doing really well. I will send it over.
Thank you. All right. How are you, Who?
Hello, everybody. I'm good. Yeah, just super excited to be here. It's actually my first interview live like this, so I'm pretty excited.
Are you nervous?
Yes,
I
am.
kind of think nervous and excited are like the same feeling. So I always try to be like, no, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. That must be it.
I've been kind of anxious a little bit, but I think everything's gonna flow right.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Let me give you an intro. Who is a self-taught artist from Puerto Rico. He started tattooing professionally back in 2018 in San Francisco, who now works at a private studio in Oakland, California. His style of tattooing is whimsical, cute, fun, and weird, and that's exactly how I would describe it too. It's awesome. Thanks for coming. Every time I run into you, it's a super great experience for me because you're a lot of fun, easy to talk to. So tell me, how has your week been?
Thank you for that intro. That's so sweet. My week has been good. It's been a little bit of like, I feel like with the new full moon and everything, it's like a lot of changes. It feels kind of transition. It feels like a little bit like things slowly like are transforming. I don't know, like I feel like the new year hasn't happened to me yet, you know. I think it's like the new year's gonna happen soon and I'm still like ending last year. But super good, looking forward to this interview. It's been kind of like the highlight of my week, of like kind of like focus on this and stuff, and it's been good. I'm always doing a lot of stuff, you know, so trying to do like sell some art online, like try to book appointments, and I've been going to some markets and stuff. Like I did a tattoo pop-up, my first tattoo pop-up last week at an event called Game Art. It's like vegan food event, and I was there tattooing and it was super cute.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. It was like stepping out of my comfort zone, you know. Like, but it was fun because that's how I started, you know, doing some pop-ups. So it felt like going back.
Tattoo artists?
No, I was the only one. There was a glitter tattoo artist actually. So that was like pretty cool. I never had a glitter tattoo before, and like I thought it was just like glitter with Vaseline or something, but it actually like lasts a couple days. Like and it's like waterproof. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So that was
do people ask you if there's glitter tattoo ink a lot? People have asked me that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish, but
like not a lot of times, but definitely people have asked for that. But I always tell it like the closest thing we can do is like the glitter effect, you know, which is possible. Yeah, it's possible. So.
And it's really cute. So
yeah.
Lauren, I can share screen. I'm gonna share screen and I'm gonna have you. Can you describe your art style for us?
Yeah, I always come across that question and I'm like, I don't know, you know, but I do think I think a lot, like the structure of my tattoos are a lot really inspired on traditional style tattooing, meaning like thick, bold, clean lines, solid, bold color. I just like enjoy that, you know. I enjoy like doing a tattoo that kind of like pops and it looks like a sticker. And like I love using like all like the rainbow of colors. I do have my palette, which is a little bit more towards like warm colors and stuff. But I enjoy having like a balance of the rainbow.
It's like a hyper rainbow, right? Like neon.
Right. It's like neon. I like different themes, nature, animals. And I like telling stories with my tattoos. Sometimes, like for example, this one that you're putting
I love
like,
this guy.
You know, it's like the thank you. It's like the expression tells a story, but it's not that much going on in this type of tattoo. Like I just seek like aesthetic pleasure of like, you know, just looking at it. You know, like the leaves and the little seeds. It's like that's a bit. I have other tattoos where it's like there's a little bit more like of a story going on. So it's like that's pretty fun to play with. Like.
Tell me the egg guy. Tell me about this egg guy.
Well, that was a custom tattoo that I did when I was doing a guest spots in Portland, and this is a homage to the music video Venus as a Boy from Bjork. And so in the video she's frying an egg, so that's why we did the egg face, and also she has a lizard on the video. That's why it has the lizard. And then we did like the body figure of like the classic Venus sculpture with some like but Venus as a trans boy, right, with like some like top surgery scars and like some cool boxers and like in a psychedelic shell. So I really like that too. Like I like just working from classical images, pop culture. Like I grew up in the 90s with like cartoons like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and all that stuff really inspired my work. So there's a lot of fun cartoony stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I'll stop sharing and I'll ask you. But they're so cute.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been like, just like, well, I guess I'm gonna stop talking right now because there's like, I was gonna answer some questions that are gonna come in the future. So
no, you say it, because then I just don't have to ask them. If you're on a roll, like do it.
No, I was gonna say that I've been inspired a lot with other tattoo artists, and just like when I started tattooing and I didn't know that much about the tattoo community, or I wasn't following that many artists that I share the same passions or the same like art style. And then when I started finding those people, it was like kind of reassuring for me. It was like, oh, like there's people that have similar styles to me. There's people that use color the way I would like to do. How do they do that? Like, how do they? For me, it was a lot of like, for example, like color saturation, like super clean soft tattoos but like really bold, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. Like I want, like, how do I do that? And like little by little starting to find my voice, and that's kind of my favorite thing. I like playing with negative space too and patterns, but I think that's something that defines my work a little bit. It's like that, like bold, full saturation of pigments, and I really enjoy that. That the tattoo pops so much like a sticker. It's fun. Yeah.
Do you remember the first person, like first tattoo artist that you saw and was like, yeah, exactly, like we are like kindred souls or whatever, you know, like we are like, yeah.
Yes, I think this Korean artist called Woo, by yeah, their shop is like 7-3 something hertz tattoo or something. Like, although I also met two people from that studio that came here to guest spot at a shop in San Francisco, and their art is like very cute and just simple, bold, saturated color. And yeah, I think that guy was one of the first people I was like, ooh, like, you know, I don't know, sometimes like I started tattooing and I was like trying to complicate myself a little bit with like how to make this tattoo interesting, like more design, more details, more you know, more shadow work or whatever. But then seeing these people, it kind of like made me be like, oh, you don't have to do those things.
Right.
Like you can create a style of your own, which is like, if you want to just do lines and bold colors, simple, like that's fine. Like,
It's like,
you know,
best
there's
for a tattoo in a lot of situations too.
yeah, so just seeing them that they were so confident in their work, so proficient, and just seeing them that they had kind of their own voice, like it's like why I really look for every day. You know, it's like with my art all the time, when I draw all the time, it's like trying to find my voice, you know. Yeah.
So what was it like for you growing up in Puerto Rico?
It was like a lot of my memories are like very happy. I grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up between Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. I did basically my whole elementary school in Dominican Republic because my parents were studying medicine. They decided to study medicine after they had us, me and my brother. So it was like a lot of sacrifices. You know, I saw a lot of like, I moved to a bunch of different schools. It was interesting because I'm coming from Puerto Rico, which is a territory from the United States, and it's a Latino Caribbean island, but our whole political and economic system is ruled by the U.S. federal government. So it's like an Americanized island in the Caribbean. It's weird. And then like going to Dominican Republic, which is a republic, you know. So it was like very republic, more like I don't know, like a different economic system, a different political system. So it definitely humbled me a lot, and it made me see another type of reality. And I think like that helped me a lot, just because I was closer to poverty there. Like it's more like at least my living situation and stuff, it's something that I was like, wow, I would never see this in Puerto Rico, where it's like there's an urbanization, and then like across the street there's like people living in dirt floor and sink houses.
Yeah.
And I even made friends with like a guy there. Like we were the same age. Like I was like 7 years old and so yeah, I was like, wow, it really humbled me a lot. And then after that, I came to Puerto Rico again, and then I lived there like the rest of like growing up, basically. But
Did your
yeah,
parents finish med school and everything? That's a wild thing to do. Like to be like, all right, we got these 2 kids. What are we gonna do? Study medicine. Let's go.
I know. Yeah, they did a bold
Incredible.
move right there for
Yeah.
sure, with like kids that were like 4 years old, and they're a major inspiration for me, really, in everything I do, because I seen like their struggle and like everything they did to just secure like a good family. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, they did it. It was crazy. I saw. Yeah, I guess like you're gonna
Are they
ask me
both
more about
doctors now?
Yeah, they're both general doctors, and they work together in an office. Super cute.
Oh my
super
god.
Yeah, super like marriage goals. Like they're best friends. It's like I've learned so much from them, as like to be in a relationship and stuff. They've been together since they were like in elementary school. Not really in elementary school. Sorry, they were like just young teenagers.
Yeah.
And they still together, and they work together, and they're like best friends. So it's
That's
like,
so wild.
I was like, love exists.
Yeah.
That's like
And they have like hard commitment. They're like, yeah, I got this. Like, let's do all this shit. I can't believe they were both studying at the same time. Like, normally, like one person will study and then, take a back seat, and then the next person will study. I don't know if that, but that's like incredible. They're incredible.
Well, this makes my mom like really badass, because like my dad went to Dominican Republic for 1 year before us, before my
Oh,
mom and
man.
me. And then my mom went 1 year later with us, and she catch up to him. And they
Yeah.
graduated at the same time.
Oh my god.
So yeah, for sure. It was like
You're
a
so cool.
strong, smart woman.
I'm gonna interview your mom next.
I know, you should. You should.
I'm like, tell me.
They're watching this interview, and they are like, they're like, they're the best. They're my like theater inspiration as well. They're great characters.
That's incredible. Are they into art at all?
Yeah, they're into art. I think like they're into art in their own way. They're more like in the medical field, but like every time I talk to them and I see them, I'm like, you're such an actor, you're such a performer. So yeah, but they do appreciate a lot. I think they have gotten closer to art because me and my brother and my sister, we're all like, we're all very artsy, and like we just show them, we invite them to shows. They've been to our shows, like
Aww.
to our performances, seeing like me, my brother, like getting naked, doing like weird
They've seen it
stuff.
before. They've seen you since you're a baby. They don't care. They're like, yeah, word, okay.
Exactly.
Do they like your tattoos, or are they like, God, you're weird. You're a weird kid?
It's funny because like they comment on some of my tattoos, but like it's not, they like don't talk about it that much. The only thing they tell me is, don't get your face tattooed.
That's what I heard forever. And then once I like had my face it's just like tucked away. But then I don't hear that anymore. They're like, okay, fine, you did it, you did the thing.
Yeah, I want them to get a tattoo. So I've been telling them like, whenever you're ready, I'm here for you.
You gotta do surgery on them now.
Yeah, totally.
Were you always drawn to art even as a kid? Did you think for a second that you're like, I'm gonna be a doctor too?
Yeah, I think like I was always drawn into art. I think like growing up in the 90s, and then my parents like getting us for Christmas like I don't know, 90s toys. They're like
Yeah.
they really marked, you know? So
Hmm.
a lot of like I don't know if you remember, like there were so many toys that were like artsy. Like I remember having like it's like a panel with lights and you put beads and you
Yeah,
know,
light
right?
bright. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So
Oh, and
I
spin art. Do you remember spin art where you just like
no, what is
squirt
that?
there you like squirt paint on it and it just like I
Oh
bought one
no.
recently because I was like, those things are so cool.
I don't know that one. I have to check it out.
I got it at my house. If you ever want to check it out.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so there was like many toys and like that were like very artsy, and I was always like drawn to it. I didn't recognize it at the moment that it was like, oh, this is art, you know. But you know, I got also the creepy crawlers, you know, the little gummies that
Hmm.
you bake. You know, we have like so
So
many cool things.
cool. Toys suck
So
now. We have the best shit.
yeah. So yeah, I think I was drawn into art, and I was as I was telling you earlier, like one of my early memories of art was like Christmas Day opening the gift that my parents gave me, and it was like a big paper with dinosaurs on it that you would paint with crayons. And I was
Yeah.
like, me and my mom and my brother like just painting on the floor, and it was so fun, you know. I was like, it's an activity that we didn't do that much, but when we did it, it was like, wow, this is cool.
The
Like,
best.
and yeah, and now I see it like, you know, in my mom now, she has gotten more into like video game kind of style on the phone, but like also puzzles, you know, and stuff like that. So she was always like that. She was also kind of upper, and she also like had a good sense of fashion, I think. So she always like dress us up and stuff. So definitely
Oh yeah,
like
you
that's
definitely
something
had to
that is
get that from
important.
somewhere.
Yeah. So definitely that's something I really like a lot. Yeah.
What was high school like for you?
So I move a lot. Like I was in total like in 7 or 8 schools in my life,
Mhm.
because we move a lot and stuff. So in high school it was like, okay, here we go again. Like this is gonna be like another like new thing.
Yeah.
Um, so always school was hard for me at the beginning because you're trying to adapt and stuff, and then I would always be bullied for being queer.
Mhm.
So it was like there was always this thing of like that it was a pattern that repeated itself in like the 7 schools I was, where it was like you get there, and I was always friendly. So it was like I'm friendly, whatever. And then people would be friendly, but kind of like they would like make fun of you because they already have their group of friends and stuff. So it was like
Yeah.
always. So I knew that this was gonna happen all the time. So it's like
You're
a
like
process
floating
of
without a line, and then they have all this like foundation and crew. They don't realize like how
right.
vulnerable the new kid is for sure.
Yeah. So it was like for the beginnings was like, okay, when this is gonna happen, and then it happened, and then it was like a peak of like bullying, blah blah blah, like just calling you names and like but I knew at the end of high school I already knew how it was gonna be, where it's like they bully, I just don't do anything, and then they're gonna come to me and be my friend because they feel bad, and
Yeah.
they know like I'm an interesting person at the end. So at the end they will be my friends, and like we would never talk about it, you know. So it
Yeah.
always felt like kind of like a little bit of resentment, a little bit like unresolved, but like at the
Yeah.
end I
That
was
makes
like,
sense.
oh whatever, they accept me now. So
I
so
like that you like knew each time you're like, just give it a minute. These motherfuckers are gonna come at me. Try to they know I got the good style and everything, you know?
totally. And it was like it came from like from boys and girls. It was like bully,
Hmm.
but like I think like it was like mostly like guys, you know. So I always kind of like had more like female friends. I
Hmm.
always like hanging out with the girls, you know. I felt more comfortable with the girls. I would like talk things that interested me more than just like when I was always with the guys, it was like they were like sports, girls, girls that are hot.
And they're
you
also
know,
trying not to like
sports.
sway so they don't get made fun of at all. Like they know what they're
Right.
supposed to talk about too, you know?
But it was
But
interesting because I love making friends with everybody, really. So I was friends with like the popular people, the sport people, the unpopular people, the nerds. I was like friends with everybody, you know. So that also caused a little bit of commotion because people were kind of divided.
yeah.
And I would be like, what? Like, you know, they're cool
Yeah.
too. Like, you know, like everybody has something
Like,
cool.
I thought you were
Like,
our friend.
yeah, totally. So it was like that. Yeah.
Did you start performing in high school at all?
Actually, like without knowing it, yes. Like I remember like when in Puerto Rico, at least where the places I was, the performance events that happen in school were like Puerto Rican night or the field day, which is like the sports day, right? So every grade, every like, you know, is that how you say every grade, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
So
like every grade.
yeah, every grade they would do like a dance, right? To compete. So I would always be in the dance. I would be excited to dance, you know, like there was a year that I was the only guy. Like I was the only guy and they were all girls. So it was like it was fun. So I guess I was performing by then, you know. I always had this thing of like it's fun to perform things. And I always was like people would ask teachers and stuff would ask like, oh, do you want to like direct host this event? And I would be like with the
Oh,
mic and I'd be like, yeah,
yeah.
welcome to the Puerto Rican night.
That's
So
so
I
awesome.
always found like a lot of adrenaline, a lot of like I don't know. I always like improvisation, just like be finding myself in this position of like, whoa, perform now, you know, like that drives me a lot.
What was your first experience performing outside of school activities?
I think my first performance that I remember like that is like one I did with my brother. So my brother is 1 year younger than me, and we are like twins. We're really close. We've been really close since growing up and stuff. And we have this little performance group that we did called Clones. And we did a performance in Old San Juan in an event. It was our first time, and like the way we prepared was like we have some props and puppets, but like we didn't rehearse that much. It was just like kind of all in the moment. And I just like got really freaked out, you know. I was like super nervous, didn't know what to do. It got the stage fright, you know.
Yeah. You're like, I think I'm
And
gonna black out over here.
yeah, and I felt kind of bad, and like because I exit the stage and like I left my brother in the stage, you know. I was just like so freaked out. I was just like, and then like he comes back and he's like, "Why did you leave?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, like I don't know." So it was definitely for me.
Did
I
you
think
guys
it
have
works.
like a whole script going? Like, did you guys write something you were supposed to perform fully?
Yeah, so the way we usually do it is like we know what's gonna happen, and it's usually like 3, 4, or 5 things. So it's like we cue it. So it's like, okay, so we're going out when the music does this, and then I'm gonna do my thing, and then when I say this word, then you're gonna run to me, blah 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 blah. So that's how we did it. But in the moment, I'm just like, yeah.
Oh my
like,
god, you were left him hanging. Was he mad?
I think a little bit, but like,
What did he do? Did he just like just?
he just
Oh,
kept going. He stayed there and then left. You know, like my brother is like such an inspiration. He's like very good performance, a theater kid. Like, yeah, definitely. I think I learned a lot from him because I don't have those qualities and he does. So we were a good team because of that. Like he's like a good director and just like a good performer in general. Yeah.
you seem like you're a really good performer, though. What has been your favorite performance?
Wow. Okay.
Or favorite experience performing? Whatever sounds good to you.
Yeah. I think I did a couple performances with this art collective that we had called Cuniclo, and then we we were like 4 people, and then there were like a person that focused on music, so they would do live music with electronic instruments, and then me and my brother would perform, and also like we had our other friend Olivia, who would make amazing costumes. So it was like a visual music experience kind of thing. So we would do installations and stuff, and we did a couple of shows that were really cool. One of them was we took people to the stage, and the performance was just like laying down the person, and we would be all dressed up in costumes, and we have all these like sensory tools, and every person would have like 5 minutes on the spotlight basically, and that was the show, and it felt really ritualistic and really I like shows like that, just like get
That
you
sounds
thinking,
wonderful.
and that like it's kind of a ritual. So yeah, but I did a couple other more like little bit more circusy puppet fun ones
Yeah.
with other collectives, and but yeah,
Did
that
you
was
start using puppets? I don't know which came first, your job in prop making and making puppets, or your interest in puppets.
so I think actually I kind of didn't know what like what medium to start doing art with, and I think the first medium I started doing things with was like kind of like I took some like theater exercise classes,
Mm-hmm.
like theater games, and then I started taking some body workshops, like Alexander technique, body awareness, dance, contemporary modern dance. Um,
Was this all in college? Like after
this
high
was in
school?
college,
Yeah.
yes. So this was in college, and after like my second or third year, because I started studying college environmental sciences, so I was like, I'm gonna be a doctor. Like, I didn't have like an artist. I didn't have like my art soul wasn't open. Kind of,
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure out what to do. I didn't know what I wanted, so I started studying science, which was great because I love it. But then I was like, this is not really like I don't see myself doing this, you know, in a professional way. You know, I don't want to be in a
Yeah.
lab or whatever. So, like I was like, skip me to the fun part, like, and but it was amazing because I studied so much about like just many aspects of science. So it was fun, and I always incorporated it in my lifestyle. But I think like from those theater classes, then I did a residency at a puppet theater company in Vermont called Bread and Puppet, and that was my first introduction to puppets. So we started doing like political theater with like old paper mache puppets and build your own puppets, and that's then I got introduced to like what is like object manipulation and how to make a show in a kind of like more like of a accessible poor way, like versus like fine art theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, there's possibilities, you know, you can talk about the problems that you want to talk about, because for me it's like a catharsis moment of like, for me I think like performance is that it's like, oh, I'm mad about like this thing, how can I make it into art so then I can throw it away and liberate myself from that, and like
Yeah.
so then I started like doing some puppets. I started collaborating with a Puerto Rican puppet group, Poncili Creacion, which they're amazing puppeteers, and they do more like foam puppet stuff, and they tour. And with them, we did our first tour, and from then we started meeting people like Austin, in Texas, and we started doing my projects and blah blah. But that was my introduction to puppet making. Yeah.
Do you still make any puppets?
I haven't done. Yeah, I haven't done. I started collecting toys. So here in California, it's like there's so many thrift stores, and like I don't know, I started meeting toy people, and yeah, I've been collecting toys. So like kind of like using toys as puppets instead of building my
Yeah.
own puppet. But I do like building my own puppets for like I like masks. So like doing mask, or like I have a hat that has like a toy on top, so it's like things like that. I've been turning to more of a fashion wear it type of person. Like, yeah, but I
Like,
miss
take it with
performing.
you.
Yeah, but I do miss performing a lot. Like, I really want to do that in the future, like
I would love
work
to
on a
see
show.
it. Let me
Yes, you're
know.
invited.
Post it. I'm coming. Do you think props and toys and performance have inspired your art style? And
Oh,
how do you,
definitely,
especially
definitely.
probably the
Uh-huh.
toys, huh?
Yeah, the toy. You just like I told you, like growing up, the nostalgia of like all the cartoons and stuff. Like those are the things I like. But also learning from other cultures, and they're just like I look a lot at illustrations and art from cultures and vintage stuff too,
Mhm.
and going to museums and stuff and seeing what people have done in the past and things like that. Really, like I just get inspired by all these things I see. So something sparks some things in my mind, and I'm like, "Ooh, I had an idea to make a design," and or a flash sheet of designs of like something. And yeah, it varies. It varies on what I'm into, really, but it's always fun to draw new things.
Yeah, definitely. When did you first learn about tattooing? Were you like a little kid or?
So I grew up like with tattoos being a taboo. So it was, I would never talk about it, and every time I heard about it was like, eso es de preso, like that's from like, like prisoner. That's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
for bad
prisoner.
guys.
It's a bad guy. Or so I never, and there is this interesting thing about like seeing things but not really seeing things. So I would see tattoos, but I wouldn't observe the tattoo.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh, now I look at tattoos and I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
what is it? Like, so I grew up like being like that. It was, and I never considered myself that I would do that. Like, never. I was like, oh no, like, there's so many things I could do. I don't know. But I think just seeing some, I just met this person in Berlin called Pavlova Tattoo. And then she was starting to tattoo, and she was like, hey, do you want to come to my private studio? And I will tattoo you. I'm starting. And I was like, oh, it's the first time I felt comfortable with the concept of a tattoo, and I would never think I would get one. And then I got
Especially
it.
like
Mhm.
on this like line of like when you're talking about how it's like, oh, it's for like bad guys, and like whenever we look at tattoos like from those like people, or I don't know, from older men basically, like it's always like a tough tattoo. And then yours are like, they're like fun and kind, and happy. And so like I could see how you could look at that and be like, I don't see myself there, you know.
Totally. Yeah, it was always very dark. Yeah, totally.
What did you
And
see at her studio? Um, and it was the fact that she was like another artist.
totally, she was from Venezuela. Like,
Hmm.
so it was like another Latin American country. She's like making it, living in Berlin. She just like was the same age as me. And I'm like, wow, you're like outside of your home in Berlin, like doing this, like, oh my God, like that's so exciting. For me, that was really exciting. And just the adrenaline and the concept of putting your art on somebody's skin forever. That like minor surgery aspect of it,
Yeah.
it's like it was very interesting and exciting for me, because I've been doing like painting, sculptures, and performance art and stuff, but this is more rare than those things. You know what I mean? Like, being a tattoo artist is more rare than performing, I think. Like, being a tattoo artist is more rare than painting, than a painter, because there's so many other things, because it's more taboo, because it's more taboo. So for me, that was like kind of like just like the punk attitude of like, yeah, like, let me, I can do it. Like, I can take control of it, even though people think I can't do it, or even though if it's a taboo, it's like I want to get good at it. So just feeling the adrenaline and everything made me be like, oh, I really want to
Yeah.
do this. Yeah, totally.
It definitely has like that whole adrenaline aspect to it in the beginning, right? Where you're like, oh my God, I didn't fuck up. Yeah, it was great. Did you ever feel comfortable going into your local tattoo shops at all? Where you're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pop in, see what it's
Yeah.
like.
No, never really. I just like at the beginning I have some weird experiences doing some guest spots when I was starting. I think also, you know, I was new, people didn't know me and stuff, but like definitely, yeah, the first guest spot I did was in Berlin, and it was my first traumatic experience actually, because it was like the first shop I went, and just like the guys were just like rude, you know, and I never felt comfortable really. I went to a couple shops and it was
I don't know why
okay.
they're so rude. I don't know why they're so mean. Like their lives weren't, you know, I don't know. Their lives don't seem that like fucking hard. They're at like the top of the food chain in the tattoo world, you know. And then they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it was so tough," and you're like, "You won't even talk to me." How fucking like,
Yeah. So yeah, I never felt really comfortable, just because I never, and even back in Puerto Rico, when I was there in like 2016, it's like I was like, oh, like I want to get better, like I need a mentor, where can I go? But all the
yeah,
options I have there felt really limiting. The people that I really like had private studios,
mm-hmm.
and
It's
so
because
it
they
was
don't want to
hard for
work with
me.
those assholes.
Yeah.
They're like, "I'm good. I'll be by myself."
Yeah, but it wasn't until I came to the Bay Area in 2018 where I found a queer woman owned tattoo shop with a um, diverse crew, like people from all over, you know. And I
Yeah,
was just like, wow, like this exists, and it was like love at first sight. Like I went there, talked to the owner, and it just felt like it was the right place.
yeah.
And I felt really welcome in California. You know, like by this time I came here to California in 2018 homeless. Like I was like living in my car. I was like, I really want to do this, but I don't know.
Why'd
And
you specifically choose California, or did you?
um
In San Francisco
because of
at that?
weed.
Yeah. Some really good
So
reasons.
so basically I'm from basically the East Coast, because I'm
Mhm.
from Puerto Rico, but it's like kind of East Coast culture, you know. I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, like, so I've been to New York already, like how about like a good nice community there, like I was spending some summers there, so I was like, I felt like, wow, New York is great, like should I move here, you know. And then I was considering it, but like we ended up coming here, me and my partner, and we got like a job at a wheat farm. You know, we were like, what are we gonna do? And then we went to Grass Valley and we did it. We trimmed. I learned a lot. I was like, okay, what? And then we were like, what's the next step? Let's go to. We have some friends here in the Bay, so it's like, let's go to the Bay. And then I just wanted to try it out. I just working in a shop, because I literally Googled, like,
Yeah.
I was like, I would never work in a shop if it's not like an inclusive queer shop. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
I can see
totally.
myself because of my past experiences. And then I look at this shop, and the first thing is Black and Blue Tattoo, and I go there and I meet the owner, and I was like, oh my God, everybody was so welcoming and stuff. So it definitely was like, oh, okay, I can see myself living here. So for all those first like 5 months that I was working on Black and Blue and living in the Bay, I
Uh-huh.
was living in my car.
The first 5
So
months?
yeah.
Damn.
So it was like such an experience, but it was like a lot of like, yeah, let's make it happen. Like I'm living the life of like kind of like just like being homeless and like tattooing in the SF, you know. So that first year and stuff was like basically what my apprenticeship was, you know. Like I didn't make an apprenticeship, but like just working on the shop, learning from my coworkers, observing what they do, asking them questions, and taking walk-ins, and just knowing about the tattoo culture in general. You know,
Yeah.
it's so different if you are like you were just like, I'm self-taught, I just tattoo people like that hit me up, versus like working at a commercial shop, just seeing like what's the dynamic of the clients coming in, how do you receive them, how you talk to them, like, so that was amazing. So I worked at Black and Blue for 2 years, and that was like, I like at the end I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm way more comfortable, I'm way more ready now.
I feel like that's a really good place to learn it too, because I also started up at Black and Blue, and they have a really hard structure of how things should be done, and I feel like in ways that help me a lot, you know, because like a lot of shops are like, yeah, you do you, and then they're like, what are you doing, you know? They're like, you said you do me, you know. But it was
Totally.
like kind of nice to have like this structure of like, this is how we do things, this is how it goes, and you're like, okay, and then you can like take that organization other places too. It's nice.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm gonna warn the audience really quick. If you guys want to ask any questions at all, go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll get back to them in a minute. I think Lauren will be looking at the Reinventing site one and the YouTube for Reinventing, where the chat questions will be. Just so you guys know. I'm learning to warn them, because sometimes I wait till the end and I'm like, any questions? And I'm like, well, I didn't tell them I was going to take questions.
Can I say something too?
Absolutely.
For Spanish speakers. So, si alguien habla español y quiere que conteste preguntas en español, más que bienvenido. Y si quiere hacer preguntas para contestarlas luego, pues me pueden escribir a mí personalmente. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
If they want to do Spanish questions, they can just do it.
Cool. Yeah, and then we'll just send them to you.
Yeah.
What made you decide to have a private studio?
Wow. So I think like, well, actually I was thinking about what's the next move, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like working at a shop really made me understand a lot about how am I comfortable working. And I think what I love the most about working at a commercial shop like Black and Blue is like the community, and how I could be interacting with people that are like a lot of tourists too, a lot of tourists, and just people in general, and just the life of the city. It was great, and it really worked for me for 2 years. It got a little bit to the point where I was a little bit drained from the walk-ins, and just being stressed out of paying rent. The studio rents are a little bit expensive because it's San Francisco, it's the Bay Area, it's a location, it's like a shop that's been around for, it's like one of the oldest shop in San Francisco, you know, and like, so all of that rent that you pay.
Oh, they have like kind of like a high weekly rent. Whenever I was there, I was like, I don't really like that.
Yeah, so it really works. It
like,
really works. Yeah, it really works for some people. You know, some
totally.
people it's totally worth it, and you know, for sure.
Especially when you're new in the city, because it is like a step into clientele and stuff. I know there's other shops that have that too, but it's rare for like a queer shop, right? Like to be like, oh, I can like come in at any point in my career and just step in here, you know, like as a young artist or new in town, and you can like you can have some work to do.
Totally. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about having your own space?
My favorite part is that basically like I am in full control of decoration.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. I'm like decoration, and I don't know, there's also this weird thing where like sometimes I like it, sometimes I hate it, that it's like I'm tattooing and then I feel people like walking like this, and I just get like a little bit like my focus is just like which also
that's
is
real.
Exciting.
That's all
tattoo
it's like shops, yeah.
You're right. It's like it's exciting because it's like, oh, this is like a tattoo workshop. People come here to do tattoo work, and it's like you feel from the energy of like you look there. There's people getting tattooed. You look there. So it's like yeah, but I think also like it was a lot of things that made me do my, like I was telling you, I was thinking about it before of having my own space and stuff, but then also like pandemic hit and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that
things
really
change.
that could
Yes,
make it so much harder too. You're like, oh, I
right.
got all this space like sectioned off. I'm paying for this space for myself, and then like pandemic stuff. It sucks.
Yeah, pandemic made everything harder, and the shop kind of like wasn't like a walk-in shop anymore, you know. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh damn, like this was one of my the major benefits of working on that shop was like you get walk-ins, you know. But like now
Yeah.
I'm like I don't have walk-ins, like what am I gonna do? And you know, I it presented this opportunity to have a private room, and then it made sense for me. And I opened this shop in February last year, so it's 1 year now. This month,
Congrats.
and thank you. And it's been great. Like it's like my sanctuary. I come here to like do. I don't know. I'm like unbothered, you know.
Yeah.
So it feels great. That's the favorite thing about this studio is that it's like my little universe.
Yeah.
That yeah. Um, yeah, and the worst thing about it is what I told you about the social interactions. Like that's what I don't have here. That I really like at the shop because I could be
Yeah.
like interacting with people, meeting new people, talking to my coworkers, and then I'm gonna go because I was in the mission, right? So I was like, let me go and get some food, go to the corner store,
So
see
easy.
like crazy
Yeah.
people outside. I don't know, it's like super cool, you know, taking bar. So I think that's what I miss, you know.
Just doing those guest spots and you get to hang out with people.
I
It'll be
know.
fun. And you can keep
Stay
your
tuned.
sanctuary.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned. Castro tattoo guest spot
Oh
soon.
yeah, I'd love
I'll let
that.
y'all
We
know.
would all love that. Oh, let me see what this chat said.
Also, maybe people in the chat can tell us like where should I guest spot next?
Oh yeah, people in the chat. Are you guys spread out? Are you guys anywhere?
Yeah, let me know where you're from, and let me know if there's any like conventions or stuff like that. You know, like tattoo events or tattoo shops are cool.
Sorry, the sound went woo.
Yeah, my AirPods just died, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
connect them really quick.
Cute, your alien head. Do you have any idea of where you want to be in 5 years?
I would like to maybe have my own shop. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to have my own shop eventually. I don't know where exactly. I would like to do more collaborations with maybe like the fashion world, brands. I would like to get featured in tattoo art magazines. I would love to have a gallery show.
Yeah.
You know, it was such an inspiration, like seeing the Ed Hardy's expo
Yeah,
at a museum. You know, I was like, oh, like tattoo artists can get to museums. Like it took them years, but like okay, that's how it goes, you know. And it's like it's just, and you know, and also Ed Hardy was like you know, collaborating to make like fashion brands and stuff like that. Like I like that. Like tattoos also like a lifestyle, and I do like doing many things like painting, sculptures, and performing arts and like installations. So I would love to have a show eventually. But
awesome.
yeah, definitely the future. Yes.
Did you
yes,
know
yes, yes,
Ed
yes.
Hardy
And
was
I would love to,
what?
sorry, I would love to teach also. Like I would love
To
to
teach?
teach. Yeah, tattoo coaching, tattoo mentoring. I would love to just because I love teaching. So that's probably something I would do in the future more.
Yeah.
For sure.
That sounds fun. Ed Hardy was taught by one of my favorite old tattoo artists because he writes he was like he had a PhD in English and he writes all these books and he's a gay man and he writes about tattooing in the 50s and the 60s and then he was in San Francisco, so he's like really fun. It's really fun to read his stuff. But I always want to like go to Ed Hardy shop and be like, do you have any Phil Sparrow flash? Because like I really want some of that stuff, you know? It's pretty interesting.
So there is wait, you said that there's a book. What's the name of the book?
He does, the one he wrote is Bad Boys and Tough Tattoos. And he starts in Chicago and then he's tattooing in San Francisco, but it's like his beginning, even in the beginning in the book, is like right whenever he started tattooing. He also like focuses on like the sexual aspect of tattooing because he was doing these journals for Dr. Kinsey, who he's famous for doing like the Kinsey scale, like the scale of 1 to 6, how gay are you, you know?
Okay.
That's what he is originally doing the journals for, so his book is on that. And then also The Secret Historian. But
Nice.
it's got a
I
lot
would
of
love to-
good, juicy tattoo history in there. It's like fun to read and actually relatable because it's like this queer dude, you know?
Totally.
Okay, so do we have any questions in the chat? I don't see any now, but I have more questions. Let's see. What's a good tip for young tattooers? Teacher, teach us.
That's a good question. I think one of the best things is now that you have Instagram, just do your research and try to find people that relate or people that are doing things that you kind of like to and you would like to do, and try to get tattooed by them. You know, like try to
absolutely
get tattooed, just because literally tattooing is like a free class. You have to pay for a tattoo, but like you can see how the person set up. You can ask them questions a little bit, like, and you learn a lot from that. Every artist tattoos so differently. Like so it's definitely cool to learn from other people. And I would say maybe like take an art class, you know, like this. I think that's fun to just learn some techniques and just learn from people that like do illustration and stuff like that, and like just immerse yourself in the illustration world and get that control, you know. Like some people, I think like some people at the beginning like stress out a lot, and I did too. I stress out a lot of like I have to tattoo on like fake like animal skin, or like I have to like tattoo on real people, and it's like you don't have to really. Like you can practice a lot with like even like a Sharpie paper. It's like the same concept, but like, and I practice a lot with fake skin. There's like this really good brand, I think it's my favorite one, Pound of Flesh, and they make great synthetic skin that it's really the closest thing to skin that you would tattoo, I would say. And so you can get really good at that, practice there, take it easy. And I think a lot of it also is like having a person that is like a mentor to you, that is kind of like looking over your shoulder, telling you stuff. You know, I didn't have that at the beginning, and it felt, those were the hardest times in my career. It was like those years that I didn't have anybody there, that I was just trying to figure out what to do and stuff like that.
Seriously, it feels so like you feel so lost, and I don't know. I feel that. I felt like isolated for many years, like outside of the tattoo world for the first like 9 years till I moved to San Francisco and met like other like queer people and stuff, you know. I know what you mean. Do you have any aspirations for what you want your future work to be, or something you'd like to do more of?
I think like I would definitely would like to just keep finding my voice and have a really good and strong like design portfolio that it's so good, and I feel so happy with it, and I'm like, this is me, that I can just focus on just doing those tattoos. but it's hard, you know, because it's like it's always changing, you know. It's like
Yeah. There's
new
always the
technology, new
freshness.
yeah, so
And other stuff, like your older stuff, you'll be like, yeah, I don't care about that design anymore because I've done it like a few times, you know. You're like,
right,
I want
and
that
people are
fresh
like,
stuff.
but I want that one.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I guess. Yeah. You're like, but my new stuff.
Totally. So yeah, definitely like tattooing my new stuff all the time. That would be like a good thing to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let people know where they can find you and I will close it out.
You can find my work in Instagram at Who Tattooed You. I think you're gonna put a link, right? Or something?
Yeah, I think there's a link on it on the YouTube even.
Awesome. Yeah. So Who Tattooed, I'm working on my website domain thing, so that's not ready yet, but it will be ready, and I will let you all know. And that's basically and my email. My email
Oh,
is,
someone has a question too, and I'll put your email in the chat.
what is it?
It's which new tattoo would you like to do on someone that you haven't done already?
Wait, sorry, what's the question again?
What's one of your new tattoos that you've drawn that you haven't done on somebody but want to do on somebody?
Oh, okay. Let me see. Damn, I would like to do all the new
All of them.
Actually, I would like to do them all.
What about a number one? You got a number one?
Let me see. I think. Well, I'm in the unicorn vibe right now, so I just tattooed a unicorn that I was really excited to tattoo. But
Yeah.
the new one, but I haven't released it yet. But like, hey,
Sick! That
hey,
shit's awesome.
if somebody wants to get that, but I will release it soon. These are just part of the secret one. But from my last flash, I think this one would be cool to do, like this one.
Oh, I love that one.
That'd be nice. I
Yeah.
did this one. Oh, and this one too. That one would be cool.
That's awesome.
This one I did on a booty, the unicorn. And
That's where it belongs.
yeah,
Good
right.
stuff.
For sure, yes. But
yes, and your email.
my email is clones CLONES, like clones, and after that OMOS.
OMOS at Gmail.
At gmail.com, yeah. But Instagram, I have my form. My tattoo request form is in my link in bio. So just click there, and then from there you go to my email directly. So you can just write me if you have inquiries, you have questions, and yeah, like that's the best way to reach out.
Awesome. And you can find Live in the Castro on Instagram, Live in the Castro SF. You can find me, Haley Adams Tattoo, and the and Reinventing the Tattoo that hosts all this at Reinventing the Tattoo. Thank you so much for letting me do an interview with you, Who.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. And everybody should check out Haley's art. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Literally like oil paintings on your skin. So it's like insane. So go and check out Castro Tattoo.
Thank you so much.
Such a beautiful shop.
It's beautiful. Bye.